Her voice shall wake the world nearby.
Cool, did you see the size of that dragon? Hello guys, welcome back. Got another deck to share with you today. This time it's a Scoia'tael deck built around the card Dana Méadbh Provider and using the leader ability Call of Harmony. Before jumping into a few games with the deck, let me just quickly talk it through in the deck lab first. So the first thing to talk about is the leader ability itself, Call of Harmony, which adds 17 provisions to your limit. What does it allow us to do? It gives us the order to spawn and play Dana Méadbh herself, the relic token version of her, with Doomed and Harmony for 7 power only. So at face value it's not a great leader ability, but there is a way to get good value from it, which I'll talk about now. So to get good value from the leader ability, which spawns a relic, we have to include Querixis, which is a beautiful unicorn with a golden mane and tail, as you saw hopefully in the introduction there. And Querixis is a relic with Harmony for 5 power and has the ability that whenever we play another relic, so that would be our leader ability in this case, we get to spawn and play Lock-Find Convergence, which allows us to create a bronze Scoia'tael unit with a primary category that we do not control. So the primary category here is the first category underneath the name. In this case for Querixis, it's a relic. Okay, so that's how we get value from the leader ability. Obviously we've got this harmony mechanic as well, which we'll just quickly talk through. So probably the easiest way to do that is to have a look here. So harmony, what it provides us with is the ability to boost units whenever we play a Scoia'tael unit with a primary category that is not already on the table. So say for instance we only have dwarves on the table and we play an elf and those dwarves have harmony. Whenever we play that elf, all of those dwarves will get boosted by 1. Now you can have Harmony 2, I think there's only one unit in the deck which I'll quickly show you, which is Percival Shuttenbach. Percival will get boosted by 2 whenever we play a unit which is not already on the table. So that's quite nice, and Percival's our gnome in this case. Now, what else to talk about in this particular deck? Well, we have the scenario, Mysteries of Lock-Find, which is very, very strong. Let me just quickly open this and talk it through. So this scenario progresses whenever you play a unit with Harmony, so quite clearly we want to be including units with Harmony in the deck to progress this particular scenario. And when you pop the scenario down, you get to spawn Lake Guardian Dawn aspect on the same row, and you set its power, and this is a critical point to this particular scenario. You set its power to the number of non-neutral units, let's just say Scoia'tael units with unique primary categories in your starting deck. Now, what does that mean? Well, as I've already talked about, the primary categories, let's just have a look at an example again. So for the Antherian, it has 2 categories. It is a beast and it is cursed, but the primary category is the first one, so the primary category is beast. Now the question becomes when using Mysteries of Lock-Find is how many primary categories are there for Scoia'tael units? Now the answer, I believe, is 11, and they are Elf, Dryad, Dwarf, Human, Treant, Beast, Gnome, Machine, Dragon, Relic, and Witcher. So we want to be including at least one of each of those primary categories in the deck to make sure that our Lake Guardian Dawn aspect comes down for 11 power, which is quite good. And as I said, whenever you play a unit with Harmony, it will progress to the next chapter. So progressing to chapter 1, it allows you to boost any unit you play by the number of categories it has. And then chapter 2, we get to spawn and play Lock-Find Convergence. We've already talked about that because that's what Querixis also allows you to play. Alright, so moving on, we've already got the relic in the deck if we want to be maximising the power of the Lake Guardian Dawn aspect, and the relic is Querixis. But we also have Dana Méadbh Provider, arguably the strongest card in the deck if played after you've won a round. So she has the ability to evolve. In her unevolved state, she will basically just be boosting units in your hand with a primary category you don't control. And she also has Harmony, which I personally didn't find a great deal of value in this particular mode of her for a Harmony deck. It might find value, say, in an Invigorate deck, however. But once you've won a round, she'll evolve to Dana Méadbh Caretaker, and whenever you play a unit, it gets boosted by 2 if you don't already control that primary category. And when you deploy her, it will boost all of the primary categories that you control by 2 as well, all of the unique ones. So she can come down for quite a lot of points. Now she also combines as being a relic with Querixis, So whenever you play another relic, you spawn and play Lockvine Convergence. So ideally, you want to be playing Querixis and then either Dana Méadbh Provider or Dana May from the leader ability to trigger Querixis' ability. Okay, so for card draw, we've got an Iromancy and Call of the Forest, as well as the Arcane Tome, so they help us just draw the cards that we want at the right time. So for our dragon, we've got Scoia'tael. I found this to be the most reliable of the 3 dragons that you can include in a Harmony deck. Let's just have a quick look at those. Has to be a Scoia'tael card, so the other options would be Saskia and Saskia Commander. I'll quickly talk about why I haven't included the others. Saskia Commander, her ability summons a unit from your deck, which you don't want because most often you would have a deploy ability, which will never be triggered when you summon the unit with Saskia Commander. And the other one is Saskia herself, and because part of her power comes from her order, I found that she often gets removed or locked before you can actually get the remainder of her power, so she often just comes down to 6, which is not great. So this is why we've included Scoia'tael. It's the cheapest dragon as well, which is great. So that's our dragon. Our human is Pavko Gale. He's got Harmony, and he's also somewhat of a removal. You know, he's basically pumping up 2 damage per turn, so you can remove your enemy's threat. We've got the Lake Guardian Dusk aspect, so this is a very specific Harmony unit. It looks pretty poor at face value with only 1 power, but this particular unit's Harmony is also triggered in hand and deck, so largely wants to be the last card you play in any particular game, typically coming down for 15 to 20 points. For our Treant, we've got the Weeping Willow with Harmony as well. A nice unit. You can play it on the range row for a poison, or you can play it on the melee row to use the order ability, which allows the Weeping Willow to boost itself by the number of unique primary categories among units you control. So you typically want to be playing that down towards the end of a round and then using the order ability to boost it up. Now, the poison is something I'll talk about now. So with poison, we have our Dryads. So the Dryad Ranger, a very versatile unit. You can deploy it to damage for 2 or on the range row to poison an enemy. So that combines very nicely with the Weeping Willow. But we also have teleportation to help us remove our opponent's threats. So the teleportation is just a 4 provision special card, which allows us to reset an allied unit's power, which is not particularly great for Harmony decks sometimes, but it's the second part of this ability here which we are interested in. It allows us to replay a unit. So typically, if we only draw 1 Dryad, we can use the teleportation to get the 2 poison required to remove our opponent's threat. And as I said, that combines nicely with the Weeping Willow, which also can poison. Now, sometimes with the Weeping Willow, we can use both of its abilities together. So when we deploy it to the ranged row, we can poison an enemy unit, and then we can move it to the melee row to use its order to boost it. And we move it by using the Trained Hawk, which is a beast. So that's one of our beasts in our deck. So the Trained Hawk, quite a versatile control card. When we deploy it on the melee row, we can damage for 2, or we can deploy it on the range row and move another unit, including our own units, to another row. So that's quite a nice control card there, working very well with Weeping Willow and also trying to manage our enemy's threats. So our gnome we've talked about is Percival Schuttenbach. We have another beast in the deck, an Antherian with Harmony, which allows us to infuse another allied unit with Harmony, which works very well with, say, the Lockvine Convergence that we will be generating from Querixis, because it will just be a bronze Scoia'tael unit with a primary category we don't control, so we can actually give those units Harmony, but we can also give Harmony to our Witcher, which is the Cat Witcher, which is a good versatile unit, again, for damage, often perceived as a very high threat by our opponents, so it gets locked and, you know, attracts all of their malice into that 1 card for 5 provisions. For our machine, there is only 1 choice for a Scoia'tael deck, and that is the Dwarven Chariots. We've included that. That allows us just to armor up some of our units we want to try and keep on the table. What else to talk about here? We've got 2 Chameleons. They are very, very strong. When you deploy them, they infuse with a random Scoia'tael primary category that you don't already control, and they have an order to replay self and reduce base power by 1. So you want to be playing these. It's kind of like Adrenaline 3. You want to be playing it to leave 3 cards in your hand so you can continue to use the order ability, and the Chameleon will continue to trigger Harmony. Hopefully that will be shown in the game footage to come. For our elf, we've got the Half-Elf Hunter, which spawns an Elven Deadeye on the row, which we can infuse with Harmony using the Antherium. That can be quite useful. And for our dwarf, we have the Dwarven Skirmisher, again just to pump out damage to try and remove our enemy's threat. So when deployed, it will damage an enemy unit by 3, and if the enemy unit survives, it will gain 1 armor, and then if it keeps that 1 armor, on the next turn you can use the order to damage another enemy unit, possibly the same one, for another 3 damage. So quite nice removal if you can use it, and the armor can be redelivered by the Dwarven Chariot if necessary. For our stratagem, we are taking the Enshi Saber, which allows us to spawn and play a Scoia'tael Neophyte. The point here is it's spawn and play, which can trigger the harmony, which is the really nice thing. So quite often in the first round, you want to be using your Enshi Saber once you've got quite a lot of units already on the table with harmony to trigger quite a lot of point drop. So that's the deck. Let's have a look at how it gets on in the games. All right, into the first game against Indiana, Utah. He's playing Skellige, Onslaught.
Talked enough.
And see who goes first. Okay, we're going second. So typically the way I like to play the first round with this particular deck is to play either one of Percival or Pavko as my main sort of engine and play bronze cards around that, leading to a last round of Mysteries of Lochfine and our relicts, Dana Méadbh and Querixis. So this hand looks pretty good. We've got Percival, we also have our card draw, we've got an Aromancy and also Call of the Forest. But we also have some bronzes there as well. So we have an Antherion, we have a Trained Hawk, and I think it's going to be first play Trained Hawk. And you see the value of the Trained Hawk here. We move his ship to the other row, and therefore gimping it entirely. So he's going to be a bit annoyed about that. Good value there from the Trained Hawk. So what's our next play likely to be? I think probably going to be Percival. And down comes a Demon Pirate. Trying to work out what he's going to be doing with his deck here. Onslaught tends to be pirates. I have to see. So down goes Percival. And there comes the lock. We're okay with that. So we're going to put down our Antherion. And the idea here is when we play one of our bronzes, either the TheWitcher or the Dwarven Chariot, we can infuse it with harmony to get it being boosted with our subsequent plays. Now we're running out of units with harmony in hand. We don't mind using an Aromancy in the first round because we'll get to use it in the next one. But we don't really want to be using Call of the Forest in the first round if possible. Just have to see what's happening here. So Sheep's Day off. Okay. So he's going for Resilience. Now, that's interesting. It's quite an early play of a card with Resilience. Can we remove it? Get down the Dwarven Chariot to begin with and infuse it with harmony. We're 5 points behind. He probably passed now, will he? I think he should. I think how we can remove his unit with Resilience there. We can go into Poison, can't we? We could go for an Aromancy into one of our Dryads. And then we could use the Call of the Forest to get the other one. Maybe that's what we'll do here. Maybe that's the play. I think we're going to do it because it's a big commitment to play a unit with Resilience straight away like that. So where do we put the armor here? Probably keep the Dryad alive. Okay, so what's he going to do now? If he backs out, we're just going to remove his unit with Resilience and we'll win this round and he'll have to play the second round. Oh dear, that's probably a mistake. So we're just going to punish him now. Get the other Dryad down and say, good riddance to your unit with Resilience. And we've won the first round having played an extra card. And we're moving into the second round now with quite a good hand. We have Mysteries of Lochfine. We have Dana Méadbh. We have our Aspect in hand as well. We have a TheWitcher. What we want to be drawing now is Querixis, if possible. Although we can pull her with an Aromancy, I see. So we've got the Holy Trinity. What do we really want? Pavko, maybe? Or Weeping Willow? Perhaps. Yeah, the Chameleons aren't good in the short round. Oh, there we go. We've got Querixis. Our beautiful, beautiful unicorn. Do love that look there. So here we go. We've got the Dawn Aspect down for 11 power, as we were talking about in the deck guide. But wow. If there was any card to deal with that, it was Morkvarg, Heart of Terror. We're going to play down our Antherion. And I think our next play will be Querixis, followed by our leader ability, and then Dana Méadbh Provider. Okay, he's given it Rupture. We're not too concerned about that because it's going to be boosted with the Harmony now. I think the player's Querixis into our leader ability. We're going to go for a 2-0 here. We've basically got the best hand we can possibly have, pretty much. So which one do we take here? I think it's the Dwarven Chariot. Yeah. We'll infuse the Dwarven Chariot with Harmony, and we'll use our leader ability to spawn and play Dana Méadbh. Which one do we want here? probably the dwarf. That's going to be the highest powers, and we don't really need to remove anything from the board, so we don't really need the double thunder archer. So down comes the dwarf. For 8 points, and we've completed the Mysteries of Lockvine. Okay, here's another slow card to draw a card, Siri there. And what can we do with that? Yeah, we can probably try and get rid of it with Pavko, if possible. Probably not going to be quick enough, but still a good play. Let's see what he does. We are very far ahead. We're over 30 points ahead. It's looking like dire straits for him. Okay, down comes Covenant of Steel, his defender. And we can move that with our Trained Hawk. And we should have done that before using Pavko's ability, so that was a bit of a mistake there, but nevertheless we'll see how he reacts to having his Covenant of Steel, his defender, on a row probably that he doesn't want it on. Now Sucrus comes down. Oh, is this going to be what I think it's going to be? Is he going to be playing Arnegad? So I think it's time for Dana Méadbh Provider. Trickster, we could move Sucrus, but it's going to go on to Siri, I believe, so we don't really want that. We're just going to pull down the Saboteur because we have Mysteries of Lockvine on the table. And we'll armour up Pavko, so we're very far ahead now. And here, I thought it was going to be Arnegad, and indeed it is. So now, basically, whatever we put down, it's only one card. It's going to be damaged for 7, but we don't really care about that. And he's not going to have any damage inflicted on him because of Sucrus. So how far ahead are we now? We're 62 ahead. He's got 3 cards to play with a Scoia'tael deck. Unlikely that he's going to be able to do it. So it looks like a good first outing in the deck. Made a few little small mistakes there in this last round, but, you know, this is how the Harmony deck can work. If you win the first round, you can play for 2-0. The problem becomes when you lose the first round and you have to play the second round. That's where it can get very nervy, because you really don't want to be committing all of your really good cards in the first round that you win. You want to be using them in the second round you win, particularly because Dana Méadbh evolves. Okay, looks like our opponent wasn't quite going to be able to do it, has had enough, and is going to make a cup of tea or get a beer or something, so looks like a good win in the first game. See how we get on in the next one, assuming our opponent doesn't come back. Give him a few more seconds. Yeah, so pretty smooth first game there, wasn't it? Our opponent seemed to make a few mistakes playing some cards down very early, particularly his card with Resilience. It's just asking to be removed. Alright, and I think that's it. GG. On to the next one. And we're into the second game against Dr. Dinch, playing Scoia'tael, Mahakam board, likely to be playing Dwarves. And we're going first for a change, that's nice. How's the hand looking? Looking pretty good. We've got Pavko and Percival. Gold cards we don't mind playing in the first round. We have a Dryad Ranger, and we have a Teleportation to poison a second time. We've got a Synthesis, and we have a couple of other bronzes there. So first card, let's get Percival down to start the Harmony going. And we won't use the Enshi Saber, as I explained in the deck guide at the beginning of this video. We want to be using that when we have many Harmony units on the board. And we're going to play Pavko as well, so the double gold card first round, which should be pretty good for us. And we'll have to see what we're up against. What's the next play likely to be here? Probably the Antherion. And we have to be careful what we target with poison. We'll only have one go at that. So we have to identify his biggest threat. And is it that? Could very well be. So typically the dwarf deck needs armor to keep its engine going, which is usually damage. So Pavko's nearly off the board here, so how do we keep him alive? We going to put the Antherian down to boost with Harmony. We could pop the Enshay Saber. I think we're going to here. So we get double Harmony this round with that, which is nice. And we'll remove the armor from Zoltan. So what's our next play likely to be here? We could go into the Dwarven Chariot.
What do you say we fight on my level, eh?
Munro Broyce comes down, and he's going to be transforming his Rowdy Dwarfs into the Berserkers. And we are going to infuse with Harmony our Deadeye, play down the Dwarven Chariot, and we're going to start stripping the armor with Pavko. So Pavko's really good in this particular matchup. So Munro Broyce can transform those Rowdy Dwarves into a Berserker, which he's got another couple of targets there. So I think we want to be removing that. Possibly should have gone for the Dwarven Chariot there. What are we going to poison here? Yeah, Xavier Morin, I think, because that's going to be just continuing to get boosted. How are we doing? 41-35. So we are ahead, but we have played one more card. We're ahead only by 6 points. And he's getting a bit of an engine going, which is what this Dwarf deck tends to do. Now we have Teleportation in hand to get rid of Xavier Morin next turn. And we also have Weeping Willow, which could also get rid of Xavier Morin. And we could use an Ironmancy to get a Trained Hawk to put Weeping Willows on the melee row. Just going to keep stripping armor here. I think we have to be careful when we actually go for the Dwarven Chariot. I probably should be getting rid of it because it's a way for him to put armor on his wall, which is a key component of his engine. So, 8 points ahead, having played one more card. We have Synthesis in hand. We have some good card draw as well. We've got an Aromancy and Call of the Forest. Aha, here comes Zoltan Chive. There's another Zoltan with Resilience this time. And he's inching ahead. We're going to get Dragon down. Pavko onto... Well, we do want to get rid of Zoltan. So that he doesn't carry over those points to the next round. We have to be quite careful here. We're 10 points ahead, having played one more card. I think we go for the Chariot. Finally get rid of that. Possibly should have gone for it a few turns ago. But there are just too many threats on the table for us to deal with, so I think we can just strip armor from any one of them really, and we'll go for Zoltan. And we're 11 points ahead, having played one more card. So just have a quick look in the deck to see what we might want to play with an Ironmancy or Call of the Forest. Wow, that's a big one. Okay, he's going to be transforming lots of these into Berserkers. And there's going to be a lot of damage coming out. So he's 2 points ahead. We're going to get the Weeping Willow down. We're not going to use its poison. Could have possibly gone into that. Our opponent just has too many units on the board that are threats. So we're just going to take some armor off Munro Broyce. 10 points ahead, having played one more card. And we have two forms of card draw in hand, in an Aromancy and Call of the Forest.
Beneath the ground rest countless wretches and corpses.
Alright, so we're equal now, going into the last two cards of the first round. Critical moments now. So what do we pull with an Ironmancy? Let's have a look in the deck. Don't really want to be pulling any of our relics because we want to save them for the last round. They all work very well together. We could go for our Dusk Aspect, which is already at 10. It's quite a big drop, but do we have a beast already on the table? We do in Antherion, so we want to be triggering Harmony. We could go for the Witcher here. Maybe the Witcher is a good play. What else is our play here? Yeah, I think it's going to be the Witcher here, just to trigger the Harmony of what we have on the table, keep it on the board, and we'll trigger Weeping Willow. So we're now 21 points ahead. I think that's probably going to win us the round. Depends on what he's got in his hand. Because he's got a unit with Resilience on the board. He probably feels that that's going to win him the second round for free. Or will it? Is he going to pass? He's armouring up his Berserkers. So he's got 5 of them armoured up. And now he's put a slow engine on the board, which ideally wants to be on the board at the beginning of the round, not the end. So we're now 8 points ahead. Could play Call of the Forest here and win the round. Bit risky. What are the other plays here? Really see, we can back out, pass, and that'll give him the round for sure. What do we play? Dusk Aspect for 11, but it's not going to trigger Harmony. We want to be triggering Harmony. What haven't we played here? We've got an elf, maybe the dwarf. Could be the dwarf. We just want to be triggering Harmony here. Now we're going to go for the Dusk Aspect for 12. That's a pretty big play, and we'll use the damage because the Cat Witch is going to also cause 2 damage. So what are we now? 21 points ahead. Yeah, and he's backed out. So ideally you would play the Dusk Aspect at the end of the game, but I think it was worth it there. Now, what do we get in our hand? We've got an Aromancy. Oh my word, we've got Mysteries of Lockfine and we have Dana Méadbh Provider. So we have the Holy Trinity. I think this is going to be a 2-0 attempt. So down comes the Dawn Aspect for 11. And we'll just have to see how we get on here. I think we can probably get to about 70 or 80 points just with these 4 cards. Sorry, these 3 cards, including our leader ability. Okay, removal. Let's go for Pyrrhixis. And then our leader ability. Now we're going to get Convergence.
Take the final step.
Let's see what we get. Oh, yes, we've got a Dryad Ranger with Harmony. We'll take that. And we'll take the damage, actually, just for extra points. And we've got another Convergence. Probably the Catcher here, or... No, maybe, yeah, the Rehead Officer, the damage for 2 again. Keep damaging Zoltan here.
Your next move shall be your last.
Extra points for us, really, in terms of a differential. So we're 31 points ahead, having played 2 more cards. But Dana Méadbh Provider is going to come down for a big point slam. So here comes Bruvahug. He's going to keep boosting units on that row, but, you know, there's only 1 unit there. So here comes Dana Méadbh Provider. And what are we getting? Well, we could get another unit of Harmony, but it's not worth it because we won't have anything to play after it. So what's the biggest point drop here? Could strip Bruvahug's armor with the Hawk as well. I'm not sure if it's worth it though. Probably the biggest drop here is going to be the Dwarven Chariot. We're going to go for it. Dwarven Chariot, 60 points on the board. So here's 8. So he needs 54 in 2 cards, and he's just said, I can't do it. Well, there we go, another 2-0 with Dana Méadbh's Harmony. On to the next one. Alright, into the 3rd game against Alexander Ryzhkov. Looks like he's playing Overwhelming Hunger, Monsters. And we're going 2nd. And Urn of Shadows on the board there. Looks like he might be playing a Death Wish deck. So how's our first hand looking? We've got Percival, we have an Ironmancy, we also have the Arcane Tome. I don't think we need that because we've got an Ironmancy in hand. We could have used it to get our Call of the Forest, but it's a bit of a double-edged sword, so we'll put that back in the deck, maybe use it later. I think the first player here is going to be Percival. You see we've got the Mysteries of Lockfine, as well as Dana Méadbh and Pyrrhixis. So, quite a strong hand. Down comes Dragon Promised, Relict as well. So we've probably drawn too many good cards actually in this first hand. We're going to be limited here by what we have in hand. We're going to get Pavko down, and then I think it's going to be Percival. We want to try and get rid of Dragon Promised, I think, here. Although it's interesting that our opponent has played Dragon Promised in the first round because it's an evolving card and arguably gets stronger as the rounds progress. So next player is likely to be Percival. Could have put Percival down first. So Alexander's having a good old think here. Okay, Brewis Ritual. Our opponent's getting quite a lot of points on the board already, so I don't think we can really do anything about that. So down comes some fog. And we're going to get Percival down here. Could have put him on the same row as Pavko, and the armor absorbing some of that fog damage. So 11 points behind, having played the same number of cards. So we really do need to catch up here. So what's going to be our next play? We could go for the Dwarf, the Witcher, or the Trained Hawk. Although the Trained Hawk is not going to get much value here because he doesn't have any units with row dependency. We have Weeping Willow for poison. We don't have anything to back up the poison with, unfortunately. Maybe we should have kept the Arcane Tome in hand to draw into our Call of the Forest here. So I'm going to keep chipping away at Dragon Promised. And we're going to get the Trained Hawk down just for damage here. Versatile unit the Trained Hawk is. We can use the teleportation on the Trained Hawk to get some more damage out. So got a couple of cards we don't mind playing in this first round in the Dwarf and the Witcher, and we could even consider playing our scenario Mysteries of Loch Fyne, but that would require us to use Weeping Willow and then teleport, say, the Trained Hawk in order to progress the scenario to its end chapter. And one of the other good reasons to include teleportation in a Harmony deck is that if you teleport a bronze unit, it will also allow you to replay it, which will then re-trigger Harmony, which can be really very useful. Okay, here comes the giant toad. Right, we are very far behind now in this first round. I don't really think it's much point playing further on. I don't think we can close the gap without committing some of our very, very strong cards. Maybe we can play one more card here, and we're over just under 20 points behind, aren't we? We're 19 points behind. So he's continuing to play into the round.
I'm just a sexy.
Can we get him to use a leader ability? We can get the Dwarf down. Don't mind playing one more card into this round. And if he passes, what do we do? Well, we do have quite a lot of Harmony on the board, and we can see we're closing the gap now, so we could play the Weeping Willow down. Do we back out? 18 points behind, having played the same number of cards. How do we win this? We could play Quirixis, followed by our leader ability. That would almost certainly win it for us. Do we want that? How else do we win this one? We've got the Dwarven Skirmisher who's going to be damaging for 3. So we're only 15 points behind. We only need 16 points. What can we do here? We could play the Witcher again, using teleportation. Re-trigger Harmony for... well, that's only going to be 3 extra points. That's not a good play. Trying to make a decision here. We can win with Quirixis, but is it worth it? I don't think it is. So we're going to actually pass out that first round. It's a little bit unfortunate. We drew all of our strong cards in that first hand, which is not necessarily what we want to be doing. I think we made a mistake there to get rid of the Arcane Tome. But we do have now Call of the Forest, so do we want to be keeping the Chameleon? And also we just drew the Dryad Ranger and we got rid of our teleportation to back it up. But we do have poison with the Weeping Willow, and we could possibly use an Iromancy to move the Weeping Willow onto another row if necessary in this particular round. Let's see, are we going to get 2-0'd here? The middle round for the Harmony deck, round 2, having lost the first round, is really, really difficult. You really want to try and avoid playing your strong cards, if possible, until after you've won a round. We're going to get the Dryad down.
Your next move shall be your last.
A little bit of a feint here. We don't necessarily want to remove his Slyzard there. But maybe that's going to force him to back out of the round. And it certainly seems to be working. He's having a good old think about whether or not he wants to play on. And it looks like he's going to, so down comes Doldu Lake, the location. So is he going to consume? Yes, he is. So we could definitely fulfill the poison here. We could complete the story and remove, and now we're ahead. So is he going to continue to play into the round? So, what do we want to be playing with Call of the Forest? Down comes another succubus.
Relax.
And there's the toad. I think we're going to get the chameleon down here, and the idea is chameleons want to be played down early in the round so they can keep triggering harmony. So we are, what is it, 7 points behind, and we can win it with the dragon, I think. But first we must check that the chameleon has a different category to dragon. We can see it has gnome. Gonna get the dragon down. That's going to trigger our harmony, and we're going to do it again with the chameleon. So we're now ahead, but we're a card down, but we're very happy with that because we have the Holy Trinity in hand. We have Dana Méadbh Provider, we have Scoia'tael, and we have the Mysteries of Lockfine. Not only that, we have the Weeping Willow. We've also pulled another chameleon. Although chameleons aren't great for a short round. We've got double Antherian here, so that's going to work very well with the convergence that will be generated from Scoia'tael and also the Mysteries of Lockfine. So first play here, Mysteries of Lockfine for sure. And we get our Late Guardian Dawn aspect out for 11 points. So what has he got? Down to the last round. Caranthea, okay. What's he spawning? Oh, okay. His vampire that keeps returning from the grave. Just good in a overwhelming hunger deck. Royal Decree, he's going to play a unit of his choice, a Harpy. And he consumes his vampire, which comes back from the grave. We're going to infuse our Dawn aspect with harmony and play our second Antherian to progress our scenario. And we can get poison here, but can we back it up? We could do with Weeping Willow, but I'm not sure if that's what we want to be doing. We want to be using Weeping Willow's order ability. I think the play here is Forest Whisperer, but instead of the poison we play into the vitality.
Turn against you.
So next turn we want to be infusing the Dryad with Harmony from the Antherian, and then probably playing the Chameleon down to get maximum points from it. So here we're going to now get the Chameleon down to keep triggering Harmony. Down comes Haunt to the scenario. So now it's Scoia'tael. And we'll use our leader ability. And what do we want to get down here? An Elf with Harmony is looking good. And we can trigger the Chameleon. So we're now racing away. The Harmony engine is really motoring now. Next play will be the Weeping Willow because it has an order that we want to be using. We won't be able to use it as soon as we deploy it because it doesn't have Zeal. And the last play is going to be Dana Méadbh Provider. The question will be, is it going to be good enough? So our opponent has got a Barghest down. He's going to be consuming more units. 24 points ahead. So having played one more card, pretty happy with that. Just checking the Chameleon isn't a Treant, so you have to do that before you commit your new unit. Once you then trigger the Chameleon's order, it comes down as a different unit than the one it started out as, so that can usually pave the way for double triggers of Harmony. Deadlife High Vamper comes down. Okay, so more points for our opponent. And I think now it's just a race to the top. Our opponent does have two leader abilities, but Dana Méadbh comes down. Wow, big point drop, and we've got a convergence. What do we go for? We go for the TheWitcher. Lovely job. And we'll trigger both the Weeping Willow for 8 and the Chameleon, finally. And we're at 158, and we've got a little bit of an engine on the board in the TheWitcher, which is going to be generating 2 damage per turn, so long as it doesn't hit those rats. We're very far ahead now. and see if our opponent has got enough to be able to cope with it. I think this particular game was won in that second round. I think if our opponent had played heavily into that second round, we would have been forced to commit Dana Méadbh in her unevolved state, which probably would not have gone well for us this particular match. So as I say, the Harmony deck, ideally you want to be winning that first round so you don't have to play out a second round being forced to win. Lord Riptide comes down, not going to be good enough, and he's played him on the... Oh, he clogged his melee row. That was a bit unfortunate. And I think that's going to be it. That's GG. Good game there. Yeah, we win by 27 points. On to the next one. Okay, into the fourth game against TheWitcher, playing Nilfgaard, Scoia'tael Hospitality. Right, how's the first hand looking? We have Pavko, we have a Dryad Ranger, we have Half-Elf Hunter, we've got Scoia'tael, we have an Iromancy, and we have the Arcane Tome. I think against our opponent, we don't really want to be playing the Arcane Tome, so we've drawn now a Chameleon, which is fine. And we have an Antherion, we have Dana Méadbh as well, and we also have Quirixis. Very nice. We have to see how we go here. So first player is going to be Pavko, and we have to make a decision. We can go into Mysteries of Lockfind in this round. In the last game, we really got pushed hard because we didn't win the first round, so we really want to try and win this first round. Down comes a lock, 4 provision lock. Very unfair that Nilfgaard should have such a thing when they have locks in abundance. Okay, Antherion comes down. I think the next play here will be the Half-Elf Hunter, and we'll infuse the Deadeye with Harmony. Hunting Pack, beautiful dog there, German short-haired pointer. The dog pictured in the hunting pack is exactly like my dog Charlie. I'll share a picture at some point, no doubt. Okay, what do we want to play now? So just looking in the deck, seeing what we want to be playing with an Iromancy. We could go for Percival, but I think the play here is Half-Elf Hunter. Unfortunately, we've got no way of unlocking Pavko. We have no Purify in this particular deck. So still trying to work out what we want to be playing with an Iromancy this round. It's almost certainly going to be the Dryad Ranger, though we could go for the Weeping Willow. So down comes the Half-Elf Hunter, and we're going to infuse the Deadeye with Harmony. So we now have 4 Harmony units on the board. We are, what is that now, 16 points behind. So we need to be catching up. So we could be thinking about using the Dryad Hunter here on his Van Morleham Hunter. That would be 12 points. But there might be a bigger threat coming down. Now, False Siri comes down, so she's just going to be increasing her points, and Buhurt is played to boost her up, so it will only take a few turns before she returns to the opposing side. And I think it's now time to get the Dryad Ranger down. She's also a unit with Harmony. Ooh, Sangreal on False Siri. That's a good play. Because as soon as False Siri goes back to the other side, she purifies herself. So that's just a 12-point boost on False Siri. Very nice combination there. Okay, what are we playing here? We're gonna poison. So we'll complete our 12-point play, but we are 22 points behind, having played the same number of cards. So, and our opponent backs out. He realizes that. Now we don't want to lose the first round because we got into some trouble in the last game. So we're going to try and win here. We're going to go for the Dwarf Skirmisher. I think this is just about going to be good enough. Just trying to do some calculations here. So what are we now? 14 points behind. With Scoia'tael, we should be... What is that now? 1 point behind. And with the Dwarf Skirmisher, we'll be 2 points ahead. And finally, after we pass and False Siri gets boosted, we win the round by 1 point. So quick calculations there. We have played 2 more cards, sorry. We have played 2 more cards. However, we can pass the second round and proceed to the third round a card down. But hopefully we'll have all of the cards we need in hand by that point, and we have them all already. And we've got Percival. Brilliant. So we have a way of drawing Mysteries of Lochfine in an Iromancy. We can get Weeping Willow with Call of the Forest, and we have our 2 relics, Coraxis and Dana Méadbh Provider, as well as a Chameleon, which is better for the long round. So we've passed out of the second round. Hopefully that won't come back to bite us. Now Trist Butterfly's come down. He's preparing cards in his hand, so he's probably feeling quite confident. He's drawn the card he wants and boosted it by 3. So card down into the last round. Are we going to be able to do it? Now we do have everything in hand. Oh, and we've just drawn Mysteries of Lochfine. We've got the Arcane Toma back. We don't really want to be using it against a Nilfgaard deck, really, because they have a lot of special cards, tactics and whatnot. So we drew the Trained Hawk. I'm not sure if we're going to get too much value from it in this particular matchup, but it is a unit with Harmony. So first play here is going to be Mysteries of Lochfine. We'll get that down on the board. And our Late Guardian Dawn Aspect comes down for 11 points. 2 points behind, having played a card more. Next play, Percival shutting back, get the engine going. See what our opponent does. Hopefully he hasn't got many more locks in his deck. He might have one more 4-point lock in the Van Morleheim Hunter. Okay, Buhurt comes down. Percival straight away. So will it get locked? Percival does tend to attract locks, and yes it does. Don't you just love playing against Nilfgaard? Okay, Querixis comes down, and we... Oh, look at that, we get another Chameleon. Let's do that straight away. Chameleons can really start triggering our Harmony. We'll do the leader ability to swan and play Dana Méadbh. And I think we'll take the Whisper of Dol Blasana here, because we will be generating more special plays from Querixis and also an Iromancy and Call of the Forest. So we're now 20 points ahead, having played one more card. Feeling pretty good about it. Just have to see what other cards our opponent has in his hand. Here's another 4-point lock. Yeah, disgusting. Okay, he's locked our Chameleon. So what do we play? He might have another lock. He might have another Alba Armoured Cavalry. We might want to tease out any more locks before we put down Dana Méadbh Provider. So let's get another Chameleon down, because we can draw one with an Iromancy, which is probably what we'll end up doing anyway. So is he going to lock it? We are now ahead as well in points, having played though one more card. We are 24 points ahead. It's funny how that can change very quickly with Harmony. What's he going to play? Ivar Evil Eye. He's going to switch his power. What with? Okay, with the Dawn Aspect. That's quite a nice 12-point play. And we're going to finally get Dana Méadbh Provider down. And we'll go for the Giant Slayer. And we'll get it down probably on Ivar. No! Oh, we shouldn't have done it on Ivar. Because Ivar's power... I think Ivar's power is actually only 2, isn't it? Oh no, that's a blunder. Hopefully that won't cost us. Ah, yeah, the Giant Slayer should be pumping out 1 damage per turn. Ah yeah, Ivar's 2 power, so we made a mistake there. The Nilfgaardian Knight we should have put it on, which has 9 power. Okay, well hopefully it won't come back to haunt us. Milton comes down.
By my honor, he will hang.
What are we going to play next? Another Chameleon comes down with an Iromancy. We'll try and keep boosting our Harmony units. We've only got 3 of them on the board, which aren't locked, which is a bit unfortunate. We've got good value though from the Whisper of Dol Blasana. We can see that we've already got 3 of them on the board. We will generate another one with Call of the Forest. So we're now 44 points ahead of our opponent, having played one more card going into the last 3 cards of the last round. And we have some good plays in hand, so it's looking pretty good. Palmerin comes down. Okay.
Gentlemen, onward! Follow me!
Black Blood, that's an interesting one. So we're going to go for the Trained Hawk here, and hopefully that will be the only thing destroyed by Black Blood. But we lost. What did we lose there? We lost Dana Méadbh Provider. That was really unlucky, I think. Not quite sure why we lost Dana Méadbh Provider for 18 points, but we did. Going to be triggering our chameleons for more power. 39 points ahead, having played one more card. So quite close. Are we going to be able to do it? Feeling pretty confident now. That's quite a big advantage. However, Tucson to our hospitality can generate lots of points. So we'll just have to see how we go. Guillaume comes down. That's going to be a big play as well, isn't it? So, okay, 21 points behind he is, having played the same number of cards. I think we're going to be able to do this, aren't we? So it's Weeping Willow, surely. Let's get the Weeping Willow down. Get another Whisper of Dolblathana. Trigger Harmony, and we'll trigger Harmony again with the Chameleon. So 130, 40 points ahead, having played one more card. And we have a 21-point play in hand. Surely this is another victory. Okay, what's he playing? He's playing Buhurt. Who's he going to boost? Okay, he's boosting Quirixis. Now 33 points behind. And down comes Beauclair. Whoa, that's going to be good for him. Yeah, a 33-point play there, and we're equal going into the last cards. Although he does have an order open on his side of the table. We're going to play down the Late Guarding Dusk aspect. And we're going to trigger Harmony and trigger the order ability of Weeping Willow. We're now, what is that, 37 points ahead. This has surely got to be a win. 37 points in one play. I mean, it's possible. Can he do it? Rainfarn of Atri, oh my word, if ever there was a card to win the game for him, it was that one. I think you've just got to tip your hat and say, well played. That was a 60-point play. Wow. On to the next one. Alright, on to the fifth and final game of the video against Africa Cake. Looks like they're playing Monsters, Force of Nature. And we're going second again. Okay, how's the first hand looking? We've got an Ironmancy again, which is great. We have Quirixis, we've got double Antherions, we've got Call of the Forest, we've got Percival, we've got Weeping Willow, and we've got a couple of Trained Hawks. Not sure how much value they're going to get in this particular matchup. And I've overlooked the fact that we also have the Mysteries of Loch Fyne. So, as before, probably we want to be playing Percival down to begin with. Probably one thing we ought to consider with this particular deck is playing the Mysteries of Loch Fyne in the first round, just to guarantee that we win it. Playing that deep, and then playing the Relics out in the, hopefully, second and final round. I'm not sure we're going to be brave enough to do it here. So, see what our opponent puts on the board. It's a fun deck to play though, this Harmony deck. Do hope you give it a try. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Please point out any misplays, any misspeaks, and any things you would include in the deck that aren't already in it. So let's just wait for Africa Cake to turn up. Like the avatar there, I don't know who that is. Comment down below. So what's the first place? So it's going to be Percival, I think, and then Antherion. Right, here we go. Witch's Apprentice. So playing into the Sabbath mechanic. Love the artwork on that. So Percival comes down. Will he be locked? Our little gnome. So we might actually get some value from the Trained Hawks here, because we can play around with his Sabbath mechanic. So we'll try that. Okay, our opponent seems to be a little bit slow. Probably busy doing something else, family time or something. So we'll just give him a bit more time. So Antherion next, I think. And we don't really have any non-harmony units in hand, so that's probably what we want to be drawing with an Iromancy and Call of the Forest, perhaps. Perhaps is a little bit wasteful, but it does thin the deck for the later rounds. Okay, here we go. Self-Eater comes down. Another Relict. On the other row as well. So that halves its base power and then spawns a copy of itself. We can't really deal with that, and there's no point poisoning it, unfortunately, but we're going to get Pavko down just to try and keep his power under control. Okay. The rat catcheress, another relic coming down. So that's just going to continually boost itself when he plays relics. When they play relics, could be a lady on the other side given the avatar. And the leader ability gets played. So now he's got Sabbath on his melee row. Do we want to interfere with it? I think we do. So we're going to move that guy to the back. We're just going to use Pavko to hit to the face for 2 damage. So the Witcher's Apprentice, or the Witch Apprentice. Cool artwork on those cards. Really like that. Might have to explore that in future. Right, so we've got Pavka down with an Iromancy. Not much value in the Antherion, I think, because we don't have any non-harmony units, so probably best to save them for a later round. So because he's so far ahead at this stage, we ought to be thinking about using the Mysteries of Lockfine, given how many harmony units we have in hand. Oh, another Witch Apprentice comes down. Now he's quite far ahead here, and I'm not really sure we'll be playing further into this round too much longer, but we did manage a good play there with the Trained Hawk to get rid of his Self-Eater. So we've at least stopped that mechanic, but I don't think we can shut down his Sabbath mechanic on the back row there very easily now. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to pull out of this round. Okay, Caretaker comes down for Purification. That could interfere with our Antherion as well, because it will be able to pull off the Harmony Infusion. I think we have to back out here. He's very far ahead, 37 points ahead. Played some good cards. He's played his leader ability as well. So I think that's it. Yep, we've seen enough. I'm pretty impressed, and I don't need to see any more. So let's go into the second round. This is the Twilight Zone, though, for the Harmony deck. We have to win the next round, and we have to ideally do so without using our really good cards like Dana Méadbh Provider and Quirixis. So we've pulled the Catwitcher, we've pulled the Dwarven Chariot. Quite a few good cards left in the deck. So I think we're going to mulligan those. There's Dana Méadbh Provider. And we get a Chameleon. So we're prepared for a long round. We could think about playing Mysteries of Lockfine straight away, but that will probably cause our opponent to pass. We won't get full value from it. But we will win the round going into the last round with Dana Méadbh Provider and Quirixis in hand, which is really what we want. So our opponent is busy again. Okay, what are they going to do? Are they going to play into this round? They have a card disadvantage. And they've used their leader ability. Let's see what they do. How many gold cards are in his graveyard? I think 2 there, was it? Or 3? A couple of his engines there in Witch Apprentice. Okay, taking their time. So let's have a look in our deck. We've still got Psysynthesis. Okay, he's playing into the round. And here comes another Self-Eater. Right, we have a big decision we have to make here. We could get 2-0'd if we do not commit early to this round. But what do we commit down first? It's just minimal. Dip a toe in Antherion. Just to see what he wants to do. We're basically just saying to him here, we're happy to play another card to equalise the card balance going into the last round. And I think we'd be looking to play the dragon down to win the round. So he's playing on.
It's a pity I can never finish.
So here we go. This is going to get really tense. So, oh, okay. Megascope has come down. It's going to spawn another copy of the Self-Eater, no doubt. We're playing around that mechanic. So, big decisions again. Do we play down Mysteries of Lockfine? Is this all a bluff from our opponent? Is he leading us, or is he trying to 2-0 us? All these questions going through our head at this moment. What do we do? It's the best play here? I think we're going to go for the dwarf here to try and get rid of Self-Eater, at least one of them. Now, that was a very debatable play because we won't be able to follow it up because the target did not survive. But it might be enough to dissuade him from playing further into the round. And of course, we can draw the Dwarven Chariot with Paul of the Forest to put the armour back on the Dwarven Skirmisher, so we can use it again, and that could be our play. Okay, teleportation. Well, okay, so we shut it down, or did we? Unfortunately, we did not. So, I'm not sure how we can really control his Self-Eaters now, and kind of regretting the decision to pull out the Dwarven Skirmisher. Just don't think we have an answer for them. We just have to let him play his hand out if he wants to do that. So another Antherian here, just paving the way for, say, a Dwarven Chariot to be pulled. So we can at least chop the head off of one of his snakes. She Who Knows, okay. So he's trying to set up resilience for the last round. Now, we really have to go hard now, I think. That's the play here. We could poison She Who Knows. I think that's going to be a good play if we can back up the poison. Do we have a card? We have the Weeping Willow. So we could actually do it that way. We could get the Dwarven Chariot down to armour up the dwarf. So we'll try that way. I don't think we mind 11 points carrying over. We can possibly work on that this turn. Now the question is, his Self-Eaters are down at 1 power. Will he have something to be able to boost them? And there it is. He does. So pretty nice deck this from Africa Cake. I like it. But we're going to have to do our best here. We are 13 points behind, but we are a card up. 11 points behind now after that. We've chopped the head of one of his snakes. Now we are now getting into the territory where we have to play one of our relics or Weeping Willow. So we're going to have to do that. Weeping Willow comes down. 13 points behind. We played one card less than our opponent. Now, probably the play here is Pyrrhixis, then followed by Dana Méadbh, our leader ability. He's really motoring away with his points now, and it's getting really worrying. Now, the problem with Dana Méadbh, we haven't won a round, so she's still in her unevolved state.
Take the final step.
Alvenseer, no, probably the Dolbathana Bomber. Hopefully we're going to get one of his Self-Eaters. We didn't manage to get rid of them, but we did hit one on the end. Okay, so we are in the lead now. Do we pop Weeping Willow? Let me put the armour on. We're going to put it on the Chameleon there just to stop it being removed. We're 3 points up. We don't want to have to play Dana Méadbh unevolved or Mysteries of Lochfine. Is our opponent going to play his last card in hand? Does he know how the Harmony deck works? I think he does. Wow. Okay, saved by the bell. So we retain our card advantage, but that was incredibly nervy. We survive another second round drama with Harmony. We'll never learn, will we? I think we just have to learn how to play Mysteries of Lochfine in the first round, just to make sure that we actually win it. Okay, what is our hand looking like here? What would we ideally want? We want the Dusk aspect, ideally. Oh, we got it, and we've got a Chameleon. Now, to get full value from the Chameleon, we probably ought to be playing it down as our next card, so we can just continually use its order. Okay, his Brewess comes down, consolidating all of those points into a single unit. Not always a good idea. Now, we've played Dana Méadbh Provider here, just to advance our scenario. Lesser Witch comes down. Alright. So, I think we just want to complete our scenario here now, and hope we get poison.
One arrow. That's all I need.
We didn't manage to pull a unit with poison, but nevertheless, I think we're doing all right. So what are we going to choose here? Probably the dwarf, the Mahakam defender. All right. Now, next player is going to be the chameleon. There was a strong argument to play the chameleon earlier in this round, but I think we saw the opportunity to use poison, and we wanted to use it, so we didn't manage to pull it off though. Morntart comes down. Okay, banish all his units and boost. This could be big. Well, 21. Nice. Okay, he's in the lead again now, but we've got the chameleon down, and we're starting to boost our units with harmony. We are now 8 points ahead. Down to the last card. We've got 17-point play with all the harmony as well, and the chameleon. So what's he pulling? Aha. Is Necrophage. Osrel. And that comes down, unfortunately only for 7, so we can just pass and win, but we'll just play out the cards. That was a good game, really tense. Well played by Africa Cake. Thank you ever so much. So that's the Harmony deck. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know what you thought of the video in the comments down below. And if you like this sort of content, please consider liking, sharing and subscribing. I'll leave the deck on the screen now with the song Dana Méadbh's Harmony, and I look forward to delivering more content to you very soon.
Oh, silver wind, carry her song through ancient boughs where spirits belong. From root to star, from stone to sky, her voice shall wake the world nearby. Dana Méadbh walks where the silver wind starred, elf born in grace with a dryad's heart. She sings through forests of emerald green, where secrets sleep in the moss unseen. Beneath the boughs where the old trees dream, she follows the whisper of river and stream. And deep in the mountains where firelight glows, the dwarves raise their hammers, pounding blow by blow. She trades with the gnomes for their lore and their seed, for stories of wonder and treasures of need. She speaks to dragons without fear and pride, and walks where the ancient ones patiently bide. She hears the treant beneath the root and stone, murmuring secrets of ages unknown. And when weary humans lose trail, heart and way, she leads them through darkness and homeward the truth that others cannot feel. Where kingdoms fall and old powers roam, she finds the thread that leads the lost home. No blood, no crown, no wall can stand against the song that joins each hand. From root to star, from beast to throne, she teaches every soul. You are not elf and dryad, dwarf and human stand, treant and beast beneath her guiding hand. Gnome and machine, their voices rising strong. Dragon and relict now join the song. Witcher and wanderer, free beneath the sky, all hear her harmony as the worlds draw nigh. From forest deep to mountains of stone, Dana Méadbh sings and the world finds hope. And dryad, dwarf and human stand, treant and beast across the living land. Gnome and machine, let every voice belong. Dragon and relict, rise and sing along. Witcher and wanderer beneath the endless sea, every heart remembers what it means to be free. No world divided, no soul alone. Dana Méadbh's harmony makes the whole world one. And when the night grows heavy on the land and silence falls like winter's hand, her voice will weave through root and stone, calling every wandering spirit home. For where her song moves through